Stephen Lakey is a senior supply chain logistics consultant for Gamma Solutions and focuses on helping clients identify the best approach to solving challenges, technical and business problems. Stephen joined Gamma Solutions in 2009 and since that time has worked extensively with companies to gain efficiencies in their supply chain. Stephen has been a strong advocate for the importance of integrating customer service at all levels within an organization. Please have a round of applause for Stephen Lakey. Thank you.
Thank you. Kyle gave me 15 minutes today to talk to you about warehouse technology. So I want to give you something that hopefully you can easily take away to your warehouses and use. Something that's easy to implement. So I'm going to give you 3 warehouse technology areas that you can use, but there's 2 criteria that I had, and that was it needs to be relatively low cost. We're not going to be talking about changing a ERP or a warehouse management system, and it has to be implemented within a relatively short amount of time. So from trials to go live within 60 days. That's what I'm aiming for. So today I'm going to talk to you about wearable technology, mobile printers, and also the new generation of handheld scanners that are just coming out onto the market today, and the benefits that they have. So hopefully there's something there for all of you. So we'll start off with wearable devices, and I've got voice systems under that umbrella because they have much the same benefits, and it is actually a wearable device. So why would we use wearables in a warehouse? So we can see here a warehouse worker, and he's picking wine bottles, so he's picking 2 at a time, and that illustrates the main benefit of wearable devices in that it frees up both your hands. So you can imagine a big productivity saving there, picking 2 bottles of wine at once, compared to if you had a scanning gun in one hand. Okay, so that's one of the big benefits. And other types of wearables is wearable scanners. So this is where we've got our scanner. Rather than having the gun style, we have something that fits on your pointer finger here, and we do our scans just by pressing the button with the thumb here. That goes back to either a wearable computer on your arm here, or in this case it goes back to a Bluetooth pack that would go to a wearable computer on the other arm, so it's a bit more balanced. Okay? Again, the same theory there, that you're freeing up both your hands. So it can be an efficiency thing, but it depends what you're picking. So if you're picking large bulky items or heavy items, so maybe a window frame, you might be picking a window frame, putting it on a pallet, okay? You need both hands to pick that item. So we could use one of these, and we'd have to put it down, we'd have to get our window frame, put it on the pallet, and then we'd have to pick this up and do the scan. Obviously, if we've got a wearable scanner there, we can just pick that up and we can scan that and then move on to the next pick. So once again, big efficiency saving in having a wearable device. And a wearable device is really just a choice of technology. So at your next handheld refresh, if you're already using scanners in the warehouse, something like this would be something that you could consider as a refresh. And look, they do have a premium price, probably around 20% more than the standard gun style devices, but the payback can be enormous depending on what you're picking and your workflow. So that's wearables. Mobile printers is another area, and look, mobile printers have been around for a long time. They've been around for many years, but in my view, probably one of the most underutilised technologies in the warehouse. And if we have a look at where we can use these, we can see a picker here who's got a mobile printer on his picking cart. Now, the 2 big benefits of a mobile printer is that instead of the warehouse worker going to a desktop printer to pick up his labels, the labels are coming to the warehouse worker. So you've got that obvious efficiency saving there of him not having to travel to that desktop printer. Okay. The other big benefit is that typically a warehouse worker would go and get many labels at that desktop printer and bring them back, and then there's a chance that the wrong label is going to go on the wrong box or inventory item. So this is printing at the point of application. So the label that we need at that point in time is being printed, so there's no chance that we can mix up those labels. All right, so there's an accuracy factor and a productivity factor there. And relatively cheap technology, so a mobile printer around $1,300, $1,400, so they're not big dollars to introduce some real efficiencies there. It doesn't take a lot of time to get a payback on those. All right, and again, mobile printers on a fork. So in that case, we've got it wired into the fork truck and it's no batteries to change, and a similar situation, that forky doesn't have to go back and get his labels. Some other wearable, this is a custom solution for DHL, and you can see here that rather than printing a label and peeling it off, putting it on a box, we've got a wearable printer, and in this case we needed a scanning solution integrated in there too. So we're scanning directly on the box. So you can see how quickly those labels, marking is getting put on the boxes there, much quicker than printing a label, peeling it off and putting it on. So there we have wearable mobile printers. Next thing I want to talk about is full screen devices, and there's a whole generation, a new generation of devices that are coming out on the market now that is driven primarily because Microsoft are exiting the rugged enterprise device market. So for many years, 10 plus years, Microsoft have dominated that area. So all our traditional gun style devices like this have been running Microsoft operating systems. They're pulling out of the market, and to put a bit of urgency behind that, they've got an end of support on their operating systems of January 2020. So that means there'll be no security fixes, there'll be no updates from that date onwards. So there's been a bit of a scramble across all the manufacturers, whether it be Zebra, Honeywell, DataLogic, they're all moving very, very quickly to the Android operating system, which has lots of advantages for the warehouse. That is a good example of an Android device. So that's a Zebra TC8000. And the first thing that you notice, of course, is that we don't have a keyboard. So Android, of course, is designed as a keyboardless device. All right, that's where it's home, and swiping rather than using that keyboard. So lots of advantages in that form factor. And if we have a bit of a closer look there, something I like about this particular device is that the scanner is on the same plane as the screen. Okay, and if we think of the traditional device, what we call the brick on a stick, we scan and then we look up. That's typically what you would see a workhouse user doing. With this one, we're looking at the screen as we are scanning. Okay, warehouse is all about shaving split seconds off each pick to get some big savings, and that's just shaving those split seconds off a pick. We also have a full screen device, so rather than the warehouse user looking at the screen and then pressing a button and then looking back up at the screen, the whole focus is on the display. So we're just looking at one part of the handheld, which is more efficient and increases accuracy and keeps the focus for the warehouse worker. And we can see here the traditional text space. So a lot of you may be familiar with this type of text-based green screen interface, and you might be asking, well, how is that going to work on these new generation devices? So something like this device here comes pre-licensed with a all-touch terminal emulation. So what that does is that it moves that screen to the touch screen automatically. All right, so there's no change to the back-end warehouse management system, no changes there, but we're receiving it and integrating that into the new device with touchscreen. So then we've got the swiping to access our menu. So much better than looking here for our menu number 5 and then going down to the keyboard and pressing number 5. We just hit the stock menu button and go straight into that particular menu. Very customizable as well. So if we need to add a button to do a process that may be quite cumbersome in the old system, that might be buried under several menus, We can have a soft key there that goes directly to maybe a stock check screen. So we can access that very quickly and include some efficiencies there. And these devices are ready for the next generation of technology that we're going to be seeing over the next 4 to 5 years. So things like augmented reality there, perfect type of device for all those upcoming technologies.